This is my final major project evaluation. Okay. So my initial ideas and how these changed and developed. So my initial ideas was I was going to have 4 different competitors, and they were all going to be going up against each other in a quiz show that would be 5 rounds. So you would have, everyone would play each other once, so there'd be 6 matches, and then if you won your match you'd get 3 points, if you drew you'd get 1 point, if you lost you got no points. Whoever, the 2 players with the most points at the end would go into the final to determine a overall winner. So that was the general premise of it at the start. So I had 5 rounds as a plan, but I'd only come up with 4 rounds at this point. So one of those rounds was just trying to, one of them was just a general knowledge round. We had a quick fire round, we had a guess the player round based on like their transfer history, and we had a round where you would get, say, 3 facts about the player, and you had to get them with each of the facts corresponding to a different amount of points you could earn. This then evolved into me dropping that round and thinking of 2 outdoor rounds, so maybe a crossbar challenge or a penalty shootout, something like that. So that was what I kind of evolved the idea into. And then it changed again, and eventually became similar but different. So instead of it being a competition where you'd have essentially 7 different episodes for a quiz show, instead it would be one big quiz show where it would be 2 teams of 3 up against each other, 3 rounds of quizzing, 2 rounds of football to determine the winner. So that's pretty much where my idea went to in the end. Then after my project kind of went downhill, I re-evaluated things and looked at something else to do, as I was now under some time constraint and really couldn't refilm the whole thing that I'd made. So I was just kind of stuck to doing something a bit smaller but still having the same aspects. So I looked into like radio quiz shows such as like Popmaster and on Radio 2, and some smaller YouTube quiz shows to do with football, which I'd already looked at but hadn't referenced in my research. So in the end I kind of got an idea, kind of like Popmaster. So there was, each player would receive 10 questions, and so they'd have 3 questions, they'd have a bonus question, they'd have another 3 questions, a bonus question, another 3 questions, a bonus question. So 9 of the questions were worth 1 point, and they'd be slightly easier, and then the bonus question would be a bit more in depth and would be worth 3 points. In the end that's what I went with, and that's what I got filmed. My consideration of the audience and how it would appeal to them, my target audience was pretty much anyone that enjoys football, enjoys sport, quiz shows. So I'd say football can be for anyone, but I'd say it's mainly for probably around 16 to 30, something around that, as it's, I'd say, a upper teen to like middle-aged sort of thing. And obviously the way it would appeal to them, it would be about football. They're interested in football. It was kind of self-explanatory in my opinion. My initial influences and inspirations and how these developed along the way. So a lot of my influences came from what I'm passionate about, which is a lot of football. I have heaps and, well, not heaps and heaps, but I have a lot of documents that I update regularly with the prices of all the players for the top six clubs in the Premier League. I have the average attendances for all top six clubs since like the year 2000, and a lot more things. I keep track of all transfers in the Premier League and up from the major teams from around Europe, and I have all the prices for all of them on a document that's separate. I predict the games against my uncle in a kind of like little competition we do, which I've been doing which we've done for 3 years now. So it's something I'm passionate about, and there's a lot of things on YouTube that I watch. So I watch a lot of quiz shows when I'm at home. So I'll sit and I'll watch Chase. I'll watch Pointless. I always used to watch. I used to grow up watching Eggheads with my granddad for every weekday night at 6 o'clock on BBC Two. But I'm also into a lot of I'm into a couple of quiz shows on YouTube which are football based, which was something I kind of wanted to emulate. That was an initial influence, with the initial idea being largely influenced by Star Wars, which is very similar. Over 3 rounds, you'd have a round where they'd receive 3 questions each, so it would be 2 people up against each other in the spaceship. They would receive 3 questions each. Then after that they would go on to Hot Potato, where they'd have 30 seconds on a clock. They'd be given a question. One person would have to answer, and if they got the answer right, they'd flick the clock and the other person's timer would start, and that would go until someone ran out of time. And then the final round is the round where they receive, say, a hint where I've played with this player, this player, this player. Then they would move on. That would be worth 3 points. Then you'd get another hint about that player, which would get you 2 points if you got it, and then you get a final one, which would be something that probably gave it away very easily. And if they got it off that, then it would be 1 point. So they have a couple of formats for that. They have a league format and they have a champions format. So champions is like knockout, league is a league format that goes over many months, which I've been watching for a few years. And then obviously I kind of evolved the idea and took inspiration from a different show that Football Daily do on YouTube, which is their Big Fat Quiz of the Year, which they do at the end of like the year rather than the football season year, which has a variety of different rounds, which is still updating and changing every now and then. So I took inspiration from that for the more big quiz show, which I evolved my idea into. And then also took inspiration from more just like football on YouTube. You see a lot of like penalty shootouts, crossbar challenges, stuff like that, little football challenges, and I thought that would spice it up a bit. Then, after I was forced to reevaluate, after the project kind of went wrong, I looked into like radio quiz shows like Popmaster, as I thought that was something I could emulate in some sort of way. So that was kind of my last real influence that I took from something. Obviously within the project I worked on pretty much everything. I came up with the idea, I created the set that I did have, and then contacted Carlisle City Football Club, got permission to use the ground. We went there, we filmed, which didn't get everything filmed, and then wasn't able to film there anymore. Didn't have the time available with the people able to come on those days, well, on any day really, again, coming together. So I was the host of the quiz show, and that remained a constant, but yeah, I did all the paperwork for it, I came up with the idea, I contacted all the people, I contacted the contestants, I set everything up, tried to do all the audio and camera work with help from some other people in the class that came in and helped film. But yeah. My strengths on the project, I think I was, for all that went wrong, I think I was a good host, and I did receive feedback saying that I was a good host. That I was confident in my hosting. During my pitch, people seemed quite supportive of my idea. They thought that I'd put a lot of effort into it. It was clear that I was passionate about it, and that it was something I really wanted to go well. It's kind of hard to give many other strengths for the project, as so much went wrong compared to what went right. For the weaknesses, I'd probably say that I should have been a lot more quick into doing things, as I've left filming quite late compared to what I wanted to. I feel if we'd got straight down to filming the day that we were at the football ground, I think we'd have got all that filmed. But then again, even if we had, we could have probably, I don't know where we'd have used it, because that wasn't enough. And what the project that we did film